We're rolling.
You know who it is? 2/3 of the LOX here representing Yonkers.
Yeah.
And we just want to let you know one thing. June 17th is early voting.
June 27th, primary voting. And guess what?
Go out, vote for our guy right here, Mike Spano.
We have a lot of change coming for Yonkers. We already made a lot of change. Look behind you.
He listens. He's accessible. He talks for the people.
He feels you.
He is the people.
This is what we're going to do.
Yeah.
My bro, Mayor Mike Spano. Yeah.
Oh, thank you, man. I feel cool when I'm with you guys.
Good afternoon, folks. Or I should say good morning. It's Freddie Vasquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered.
Ready, win, fatality.
Happy Thursday. It's Freddie Vasquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered. Hope you're having a beautiful day on this beautiful day. Yes. That is the Locks. They're endorsing Mayor Mike Spano. How you doing, folks? What do you think about that? Mike Spano with LOX. That's Jadakiss there and Styles P. 2/3 of the Locks, as you heard Jadakiss say there. Anyway, folks, good morning. I'm Freddie Vasquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered. And I've been gone for a couple days, right? And some of you may have been wondering what's been going on. I want to say thank you to the people who reached out to me, who sent me text messages, who've called, and also have sent me messages via Facebook and social media. The people that are putting things about me obviously have a personal issue with me. Obviously, I've expose information about them, specifically the guy who does the Yonkers voice. And so, any little thing he's looking to definitely, make it appear more than it is, in hopes of making me look, I guess, just as bad as maybe I've made him look. But again, he made himself look that way. I just exposed what he did. The other day, obviously we had to, close our doors at Little Prodigies. But not permanently. It's not permanently, and we are, actually looking to, open back up very soon. The issue is, a problem with our landlord that we were having, over a fire system, a fire alarm system that had to be installed in order for us to be licensed as a daycare or a child care center. And so when you're going to, open something up like that, there are different licenses that you can get. And then there are different ways you can operate. And so, there's a SAC, which is a school aged care. I believe the C stands for. I'm not exactly sure about that. And then there's other ways you can operate as long as you're working within certain parameters, certain very limited parameters at that. And so in order for us to grow and to have more kids in our child care center, we had to have this child care license, that we had to be classified as a child care, so that way we can get our numbers up to 21 where we want to be, and also continue to have opportunities that are afforded to child care centers, such as various contracts and stuff. And so, we were at the standstill for a very long time. The building department here in the city of Yonkers gave me a problem. They have delayed us. And in fact, had they not delayed us with their nonsense, we wouldn't even have been required to install that fire system. That was actually a new requirement that was changed as of October 13th of 2021. But we had filed for the application for childcare prior to that, but we were having the issues. And as you know, I've talked about that with all the delays and the things that were done. And so, we now had to install this fire alarm. So when we got to that point, finally, after dealing with the building department, the landlord did not want to sign off. We don't own the building, so they have to sign off on the documents in order to allow us to install it. And so, that kind of then began the whole problem, because I said, well, in order for us to fully operate, and to actually start generating money here, we need to get this installed so we can also collect our money from subsidies. Many of our kids, the few that we had, get subsidies. And so until we were licensed, fully licensed, we were not able to recover the subsidies, which was a lot of money now at this point. And we've had kids there that we have not collected payment from for about a year and a half now. And we have not put pressure on the parents. We have not said, we want you to pay or you're going to have to leave. And even some parents, they felt bad. They would ask us, are you sure? We really love this place and we really love them and we didn't want to. And our goal is to cater to, a niche market, right? We oftentimes, the demographic we cater to, are people who are living at or below the poverty line. Their kids may have special needs and they get certain, government assistance, subsidies and stuff. And so that's how we would be getting paid. But we have not received a penny in almost 3 years from the subsidies that we're owed. And for the first 2 years, we didn't even operate with a day program because we couldn't. We didn't have this fire system. And so, then we were able to operate with only a certain amount of kids, right? As long as they were between 3 and 4, because if they're under that, you have to have childcare license. So, UPK is 3 and 4, but we couldn't have a certain amount. So that's limiting the amount of revenue that we're generating there. And so when we finally got to have a UPK program in our 3rd year, this year that we're in now, we were only assigned 3 kids, right? And so, when you go into a business, and you have to look at the numbers, you have to do your financial projections, and, we're basing off X amount of kids, we're going to have them in a day, then we're going to have X amount of kids in the after school program. So we're going to generate X amount of money. And that was not happening for us it's still not really happening for us. And so, for us to continue to pay the rent and we can't collect our money, it was, me just coming out of pocket. So we came to a standstill and, they didn't want to sign and said, okay, now you owe us this money because I wasn't going to pay the rent anymore. I'm not making money. So, our lawyers were going back and forth. And finally I said, okay, they agreed to sign the paper. And I said, okay, I'll write you the check. And I wrote them a check and I wrote the check and the papers still were not signed. And now the attorney was talking about that the papers needed to be done a different way because they didn't want to sign it. They wanted us to sign it, but they wanted to draw up some document that would give us consent to do it, through the building department. And so it just, it turned me off and it made me upset. And I'm the type of guy that, and if I'm going to fight with you and I'm going to battle it out. And so I became very hard-headed and said, no, screw that. We've already, gave them money. We held up our end of the bargain and they still screwed us. Why would I give them any more money when I'm already not making money? And even if I start to make money each month, I still have to pay back all the money that I've already spent, which, in 3 years now, we're talking about over $200,000 of my money, right? Of my money, and I have not made money back. And so, this was the issue that they, they finally got upset, and they obviously have most of the leverage. They own all the leverage, pretty much. They own the building. Is either, they want money, right? And they're going to go ahead and work with us and sign this, or they're going to say, we don't need any money. Either you're going to pay us or you're going to lose your, business. And so, my wife was talking to me and she, she's definitely somebody that, I think a lot because, there have been times that I probably could have done things that would have got me in trouble, reacted in a way that maybe, and so, and there were times when, she wasn't there and I did things and, and I have to thank God for the fact that I didn't get in trouble. So, I had to kind of swallow my pride. As my wife says, you have to learn to eat humble pie. Right. And so, and I don't like pie. I don't like apple pie. I don't like pumpkin pie. I don't like any pie, and especially humble pie. But, for me, it's not about money. It's not about the business. It's about the daycare center, what we love, where we see ourselves going. So for that, I said, I'll give in. So, our attorneys, hopefully they're going to meet up, by Friday and we'll have this worked out. And God willing, we'll be, operating our summer program, with no problem. So, no, we didn't file bankruptcy. No, we're not, whatever else he said. I don't know. People have sent me some stuff, so I just want to put that out there. I just want to, because people have been, asking, inquiring. Some people were, concerned and, we're not filing bankruptcy. We're not closed for good. We're not, I don't know what else he said. I don't know. And so to, to anybody else, apologize. And I do sincerely want to say thank you to the YPD. The Yonkers Police Department have been, have been great, and again, I have to just, I don't know, with everything going on, and people saying, Freddie, watch this, that, from the very beginning, I developed this paranoia, and a lot of it was real. Things that were happening to me were very real. I mean, and they were obvious, but I don't think everything may have been, someone trying to get me. Although this attorney knows a lot of people, specifically Sam Borelli, very well, and he mentioned Sam Borelli, and part of it was whatever issue Sam Borelli was giving them, because he kept harassing them about this sign, which is a banner that he kept saying, hey, you're going to get violations. They said, we'll pay for it, but sign off on this fire alarm system so we can install it. That's already going to cost us $10,000, and it's not our building. And so we're making an improvement to this building. It's a code upgrade that I'm funding, my wife and I, and we're not even getting paid. Most of our money is being held up. More of our money is being held up than their money, right? And so I'm like, I don't get that, but I guess they kept getting these notices about this banner and stuff, which other places have these banners up. They don't have any permits for that. They just put them up, right? They don't have no issues. But obviously, I've mentioned the building department. I've spoken about Sam Borelli. And so, and they did this very recently, actually. There was a meeting maybe sometime in the beginning of the year or toward the end of last year where Sam Borelli was, in with the city council saying we have to change this because, businesses are, getting violations for their signs, and then it's the building's owner's responsibility, blah, blah, blah. But within our lease, it said we are responsible for that. And we've always accepted responsibility for that, even though it was BS, you know what I'm saying? And it was only $500, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, it's not a big deal, but you got to work with us because, again, more of our money is being held up than your money is being held up, And so, that was my fight with them. And so, again, I love the daycare center. I love what we do. I love our families. So, I said, listen, we got to do what we got to do. But I just need to make sure that we get, our paperwork signed, which, my wife went and delivered to their attorney because, he doesn't want to deal with me. And so she deals with him. So we're working to get the documents that they want done the way they want it done. Which wasn't the case early on because, we had to get them to sign other things for things that were, work that was done in the building, and they signed off. So it was like, why we have to do it this time this way, right? So I just felt that it was, just kind of nonsense. But we did it. We corrected the documents as of yesterday. We got them to the attorney as of yesterday. So, that's done the way they want to do it. And so we hope to be, rocking and rolling. So, that's what that was. And so I thank everybody who reached out to me. And I want to say this, Sam Borelli is somebody that, and again, I don't know if he was doing, I hope not, it could be, he was, kind of harassing them a little bit to put a little pressure on us to harass us on behalf of, certain individuals that I know him very well, you know what I'm saying? And, so that could very well be. And I just want to say, look, we could move forward because again, I think we had this, discussion. We had this sit down. I don't know if this is to this individual. I don't know if anybody's reached out to you about this, but, we tried to come to an agreement, to where we can have some kind of, peace, where it's not, getting nasty because honestly, like, like if it was a situation, trust me, folks, I wouldn't be on here. And the reason why I didn't come on right away is because I wanted to allow myself some time. But if it was a situation where it was permanent, I'm done, that's it, I had to file for bankruptcy and whatever else this guy was saying, it would be bad because it's going to be a situation where I'm going to, have to really feel like I got to respond. And it's not going to be through a podcast, And so, I thought we had this thing and we spoke, and these certain individuals know, that we did, and we were supposed to get to that point. And I don't know if these two individuals, Brian and Rue, are just being rogue or whatever. But I mean, you guys pay these guys, you guys control these guys. So, I mean, ultimately, if they're going to be doing stupid shit and putting my wife on blast and saying things that are not true, especially about something that I care about that much, that it really does, mean a lot to me. it's going to be a problem, and I'm trying not to have that situation. So, I don't know if, I don't know what the deal is. So that's where you guys want to continue to go. I mean, that's on you at this point, because again, I've spoken with certain individuals. I thought we were on the same page, and but I don't know. You guys got to check those two guys, because they're just going to stir more problems. That's all I'm saying. So, that's pretty much it. And you know what, to be honest with you, say what you want about that, and Vinny Spano and I, we had our issues. And at first we were friends. We hung out. We spoke a lot on the phone. People would say funny things about us, but I think a lot of our issues they have really came from outside people. I'm starting to really see that. And there have been some information and emails that have been sent to me, regarding Vinny Spano, even regarding his wife, that I've never actually mentioned. And and I wonder, who's behind that. And so, I'm starting to really kind of be more clear about that and why people would do that. And so, I'm not gonna, mention, Vinny Spano, because to be honest with you, I like the guy a lot. I really like Vinny Spano genuinely. I enjoyed, the time that we hung out. I enjoyed having conversations with him. And, through a lot of this, one of the people that really kind of did do some stuff for me, was Vinny Spano. And not that I asked for anything special, just like, yo, what's going on here? Like, what's the issue with this? Why am I getting, and he would, try to find out for me. He would find out for me and try to make the process a lot easier for me, and so, because I just, so I got to say thank you to him for that, because, there's a lot of people that didn't do much for me and that kind of gave me problems, and that are still, I think, giving me problems. I'm not sure why, and I think for the most part, he's an individual that even has, wanted to kind of just say, yo, enough of this, how can I, help you guys move forward and stuff. And I appreciate that, and I appreciate some of the things that he has done actually recently. And I know people probably may think, what are you talking about, Freddie? Yeah, Vinny Spano, again, and I, have, spoken, and we have talked about how we can move forward, because again, a lot of this, going back and forth isn't conducive, or isn't productive, I should say, and it doesn't, benefit my cause, and which is to be of service to the community, to provide things to the community, to open up this, to have this daycare center, to grow it, and to grow it into a teen center, which is, what I really want, right? So, so I prefer to work with people, to get that done than to be on here fighting, because at the end of the day, there's certain individuals that truly have added fuel to the fire that, have their own personal agendas, right? And, for the I don't want to say, I'm not going to be, deflecting responsibility by saying that it's their fault, because I'll be honest with you, I utilize them as much as you think they may, or they think they may have utilized me, right? Information is power. So if they're giving me information, I'm going to take it. If they want me to talk about it, and at that point, our enemies are the same enemies, so I'm going to talk about it, right? So I'm not going to say that, it's anybody's fault, but there are individuals, that have added fuel to the fire to a lot of this too. And we all have to just, you guys got to work that shit out, because eventually some of y'all family, y'all going to work it out. But if I, keep beefing, and then they're not my family, they have no reason to work it out with me, right? And so I'm not going to continue to do that. At the end of the day, my goal is to be a positive person in this community. And that's who I want to be. And that's who I'm going to continue to be. So I just want to put that out there. So whatever these individuals are saying, please take that with a grain of salt. I'm not going anywhere. I done been through worse. So I'll be back in no time. And, and God, for, willing, we'll be back, real soon. And actually we'll be, doing our program and we'll continue to grow from there. So it's just some, minor misunderstandings, but it has nothing to do with bankruptcy or I'm gone forever, Freddie, don't tell me you bought out. Shaking my head. No, I don't want to say I bought out. It's not that. The Spanos really got to you if you're giving up this fight against corruption. No, I'm not saying I'm giving up the fight against corruption. What I'm saying is that I'm talking about personal attacks, right? I'm talking about, talking about people's wives and children, because I don't like to see my wife blasted up there, right? I'm gonna, if it don't stop, Like I'm gonna end up doing something. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna end up being, because this is not a game I play. I don't play this game like this. This podcasting and talk, I don't. That's not what I do. You know what I'm saying? So if either I'm gonna go to jail, right? Because I'm gonna end up, because again, they're gonna. The first time I ever got into a fight and the police called me about it was when I had a fight with Hector Santiago, right? Which I didn't start, but the point I'm saying is that I've been in many fights and I never had the cops call me about it. But now the cops are calling me. The first time I ever had the cops call me because I went to somebody's house was Brian Harrod and Ruros. Both of them called the cops, and the cops are calling me about why am I going to their house. And I done been to people's houses before. People that owe me money, people whatever. I didn't ever call the cops. You know what I'm saying? I done been in some, you know what I mean? And this is now, I'm not trying to go to jail. You know what I'm saying? If I go and hurt this man or I get him hurt, because it won't be me. If I go and get him hurt, right, they're going to come to me, right? And when you do something, you don't want the cops coming to you, right? So, and that's that's going to happen. So, rather than me get to a point where that happens, what I'm saying is that I'm trying to resolve that part of it. Like, let's have that understanding, right? Rather than, continue with the nastiness, you know what I'm saying? Because again, I'm going to get to a point where I'm done with the podcasting. I'm going to go out to the street and I'm going to do something to this guy. And I don't want to do that. And I'm not saying that I'm, and I know I don't want that to make me sound like, I don't want you to think that I'm this, right? But, eventually I'm gonna, you know what I mean? Like I can't, you know what I'm saying? That's not what I would have been shut this down a long time ago normally, but they called the cops. So before I go to jail, I'd rather just have some kind of understanding with individuals like, hey, let's leave certain things out. I'm not saying that I'm going to stop talking about politics and what's going on and what I see, or I'm going to ignore corruption. No, it's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that when it comes to somebody's, wife or children or whatever, let's leave that out. You know what I'm saying? Let's come to that understanding because, for somebody like me, you know what I'm saying? It's getting to that point where it's already, my wife had to be like, chill, relax, because I'm tired of it. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm tired of it. You know what I mean? When people call me about this stuff or I see something about it, or a parent is questioning that video that he completely made a lie about and said it was a parent that I attacked when that was 2 years prior to us opening up as a childcare center, and I hear that, I got to hear that, it's going to get to me and it's going to want me to go do something. That's what I'm trying to avoid. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that I'm selling out or that nothing like that. This is what they do. This is how they silence people. Sooner or later, karma will get them. There are people that work them every day that they're trying to stop them. Those who are people they need to worry about. Yeah, but and I'm not even talking about my situation with my daycare, and that the lawyer, whatever, I don't know if that's them or not, but we're working that out. So it's not, they want to work with us. We want to work with them. So like I said, it's going to be resolved. But I'm talking about like what these individuals post, what Brian Harrod posts and Rue Roche, he posted my wife and he's saying things, that are not true. I mean, they've been very nasty and disgusting, and that bothers my wife, though she's kind of whatever now, but, and it bothers me, you know what I'm saying? So again, when is that going to stop? Right. Cause then what am I going to do? You know what I'm saying? I don't want to talk about nobody's wife. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to talk about nobody's kids and nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to do that to try to get back at them. Right. Eventually I'm just going to be like, listen, boom, bom, bing. And then this guy's going to, be hurt. And then who's going to be knocking on my door? You know what I mean? So I'm trying to avoid that. Right. Or maybe they might send somebody to fight me. I don't know. I'm not saying I'm this big bad guy, but all I know is I'm saying that I'm not just going to, you know what I'm saying? Like eventually I'm going to, you know what I mean? So let's avoid that. That's what I'm saying. Let's avoid that. And, I think that if you could look, at the end of the day, in order to, if you want to vote the Spanos out, if you want to stop the corruption, people have to be more vocal, right? Because it can't just be me alone. Because then I'm being vocal. And yes, people are handing me information. That's cool, but you know what I'm saying? It has to be all of us. We have to come out in full force. We have to be willing to go out there and rally in City Hall. They're doing marriages, Brenton Bola is getting married. They're holding whole receptions over there, right? Right. People are wondering, did they get permits? Did who pay for that? I don't know. Why are they doing that under people's steps? I don't know. Right. But we're not going out there and saying, hey, this is not okay. Hey, this is not cool. right? We're not doing that. We're just kind of questioning it among ourselves, but that's not going to get it done. That's not going to get what we need done. So if that's all people are going to do, then at some point I have to say, okay, do I want to continue, fighting, right? Because it's costing me a lot of money, folks. I mean, Zahi Jarris is suing me. I'm paying my attorney for that. Well, actually, I did give him some money because I don't want, anything free. So yeah, it has cost me, I'm already paying him to sue people that owe me money. I got people that owe me $80,000, right? So I didn't get that money, right? And then I'm putting money into this business. And then now I'm having issues, with the landlord. So now I'm paying my attorney to, I got to deal with that, right? So this costs me money. It's costing me a lot of money. Right. And all I'm trying to do is get this thing going and getting some, this community thing center that I would love to get going. And I got to be battling, all these people that's coming at Freddie because it's Freddie that they see. Right. They don't see anybody else. And I'm out there with them. But I'm saying we all have to come out together. So then it becomes where, okay, they can't just target any one person, right? And now you see it's a big force. It's a big movement that makes an impact. And then we have to come out and vote. And then we have to support candidates that's out there, right? I came in there, I entered the race because, again, we all see what the situation is. A lot of people don't want to vote for Spano, but then a lot of people don't want to vote for Corazon. And then, people say Margaret Coleman speaks well, she's educated, but then a lot of people wonder if she's just there to split the votes, right? And that's a big thing, a lot of people are questioning, right? And so, and is she even going to be but then there's Freddie, I'm out here, right? If you're saying that, where's the volunteers I was even offering to pay people and I couldn't really get anybody to come out here and get, to come get petitions. That's work. That's a lot of work. I was reaching out to a lot of people. I was trying to organize. Then I got left out of meetings, by people for whatever reason, when I was trying to be, helpful, trying to, so I at the end of the day, I have to, take all this and decide what's the best route to get to where I want to go. And that's not saying that I'm going to sell out because they haven't given me anything, right? And I haven't said, hey, I'm not going to talk about corruption. I'm not saying, hey, I'm going to do a rule roast and pretend that everybody supports the term extension. No, I'm not saying that. That's not what I'm doing, right? But I'm just saying, do I want to continue to get into a back and forth spat with these guys over, because they get offended. They get very offended just as I get offended, right? If I talk about their family, they get offended just as much as I get offended. Right. And so that's going to continue them really going hard, really being personal. So what I'm saying? And then again, at some point, I'm not going to want to just go back. At some point, I want to just go and do something. You know what I mean? This is my family. Like, I want to go do something. So I'm trying to avoid that. That's all I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Right. So, and the reason why I mentioned Vinny Spano is because quite honestly, he did do stuff for me. He helped me out with the C of O situation that I was having, right? He was able to get me the temporary thing so I can at least operate or whatever and start doing something, right? So, that's why I say that, and I'm not trying to, say that I sold out by saying that, I'm just saying that that's because a lot of times people want me to go after the Spanos, this, that, and the third, but there's other people really that are behind this. There's other individuals, right? And those are the people that, that continue to push Brian Harrod and Rue Ross and even themselves. And Rue Ross is mad because of that. I expose him as a pedophile, right? But, people like Zahi Jarris pay this guy. So does the city, of course. Zahi Jarris pays Brian Harrod. Frankie Jarris uses the Yonkers Newswire. And to do this, all this stupid stuff that they do, right? So, it seems like I'm batting a lot of the Jordanian community. And that's another thing, right? A lot of people in the Jordanian community have issue with me now. You talk about certain individuals, no matter if it's true or not, you're going to have problems with the whole community, pretty much. And so I'm not trying to battle everybody, right? I'm not trying to go to war with everybody, is all I'm saying. And this back and forth stuff because I don't like it. So eventually something's got to give, right? That's what I'm saying. It's got to come to an end somehow. Either we come to an end peacefully or we go in the streets and we fight. That's what it comes to. That's all I'm saying. I'm being straight up. Whether they're going to kick my ass or I'm going to kick their ass, it's going to come to an end. And I'm trying to do it peacefully. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. And if you assume that that's me selling out, then so be it, because if I go out there, it's not going to be good. Right? For nobody. It's not going to be good for me. It's not going to be good for them. It's not going to be good for my family. Right? And because at this point, this is where I'm ready to be with it at this point. Because I'm tired of the back and forth. Right? I'm tired of, if they just kept it to me, if they just poked about me, I don't care. They call me ugly. If they said whatever they want to say about me, that my podcast sucks, that I'm lying, I don't care. It'd be a different story, right? But when it come to continue to blast my wife, put a picture on her face, say these lies, my wife has to go to work. People thinking that all this stuff is true, and she feels uncomfortable, and then there's a lot of people in the Arabic community that work around her. And I'm not saying that they all have issue with her, but I'm sure some do because of things that I've said about maybe somebody that they're related to that I didn't even know. But although it's true, but they're going to get upset. Right? And I'm sure people is upset with me over Allah neighbor. I didn't even know that was him. But Allah, you should have been keeping your mouth shut. You shouldn't be doing that. You shouldn't be talking like that. If you're going to be a partisan like that, you got to be low with it. And he didn't even know who it was that he said it to because he had said it to so many people. So take issue with him. Not me, but people are taking issue with me, right? So I don't want to deal with a lot of that because, again, at some point, when is it going to end and how is it going to end, right? I'm not saying that I'm big and bad and I'm going to crush everybody. I'm just saying that, it's not going to be good for anybody. So I'm trying to make sure that we could be at peace. I got to get to a meeting. I'm Freddie Vasquez. This is Basement Politics. That's all I want to say. We'll be, God willing, back in action, sooner you think. If we're not filing for bankruptcy, we didn't do that. I never filed for bankruptcy. I don't know, whatever else they said. It's not true. It's not true. Vinny Hunter Biden's panel helped you because he was trying to win you over. Sure, absolutely. He wanted to control you like they control every other media outlet around here. When you started speaking the truth with us about the Spanos, he arranged for CPS investigations into your daycare business. This guy's a fraud. No, 1,000%. Do I believe that Vinny was involved with that? I do. Who am I mad at more? My cousin Erwin. Why? Because that's your family, right? He's the one that gave in the video. If I'm Vinny Spano, I'm going to do that because I'm Vinny Spano and whatever I think, he's talking about me. So, I only get emotional for my wife for things that I like. I don't get emotional for the politics stuff, right? So I could understand the game, right? But when it's your family member, that's what pisses me off, right? And then your cousin's wife is calling for people to call CPS on you on social media. That's messed up. We're family. He would have never got that, but it was my family. But Vinny Spano, I believe, was just as much a part of it as, as Erwin and Ruros, Family is supposed to stick together, 1,000%. 1,000%. But I guess my cousin views the Spanos more as his family than he does us. And again, he probably, I didn't have a relationship with my cousin like that. He 1,000% had a better relationship, closer relationship to Vinny. And I always say blood doesn't really make you family. It's who is there, who's there for you, who is family, really family, And so that's what I believe. And there's a lot of people that are not blood related to me that I would consider family that have been there for me, So, but again, the point is where does it end? Right. That's my point. Where does it end? How do we want this to end? A lot of us have problems with the Spanos that are personal and not so much about corruption. Right. Even myself. I had an issue with my daycare center. They were giving me a hard time, no doubt about it. And so I started to talk about it. And then I started to see a lot of things. And then it became more than just about me. It became about everybody's personal issue. Right. And I don't mean just personal issues. You said this about my mom. I'm talking about someone had an issue with the building department also, or somebody had an issue, they needed something done, whatever it was, right? Something that they needed to get help from or help with, right? But it was only that issue. But we have to care about all the issues for everybody and support everybody and back everybody. And we must come out together as a whole, united. Otherwise, we're not going to make change. Right? We're not. And the best thing that we could do is learn to coexist and figure out a way to get the things that we need. That's my goal. And that's always been my goal. Some people want to see people go to jail. That's never been my goal. My goal is to get people in there who will do these things that we need. But again, if the Spaniel decided to wake up and say, hey, Freddie, you know what? I want to work with you to do all these things we need, and he's actually going to do it, then I would do that. I would do that. And I'll be straight up with you. Why? Because if we're going to get it done, then let's get it done. I don't care if it's Spano. I don't care if it's Corazon. I don't care if it's Margaret. I don't care if it's me. I don't care who it is. I don't care what color they are. I don't care what gender they are or what gender they think they are. As long as they're going to get it done. That's all I care about. And so that's my goal. That's my goal. And seeing these kids succeed and having a place this summer to go, the teens, because I hear it's going to be a hot summer, that's my concern. That's my priority. And basement politics is just a side thing I do. I want to bring you the information. I'm going to continue to do that. I'm going to continue to do it in an unbiased way, unrestricted and unfiltered. I'm Freddie Vasquez, Basement Politics. I got to get out of here. I got to get to my meeting. Thank you very much.
Thank you for watching Basement Politics with my husband, Freddie Vasquez.
Freddie wins. Fatality.